From Skynet in Terminator, the machines in The Matrix, and Ultron in The Avengers, pop culture has portrayed artificial intelligence as a force for evil that ultimately wants to destroy the human race. Instead of a grim future where Siri takes over the world, I believe that machine learning and cognitive computing will transform the world that we live in for the better. Today I will discuss how machine learning and cognitive computing will revolutionize healthcare, providing healthier lives for everyone. First, I will explain what machine learning is and how it compares to existing computer programs. Then, I will introduce you to the Watson Platform, which is a foundation for different modules that specialize in a variety of fields. Finally, I will show you how one of these modules, Watson Health, could be customized to revolutionize healthcare in New Zealand. Machine learning is a branch of computer science that gives computers the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. This is achieved using a variety of statistical, probabilistic, and optimization algorithms that allow computers to find patterns in large and complex datasets. Artificial neural networking is a specific type of machine learning that focuses on building algorithms that work in a way that is similar to the human brain. Neural networks work in terms of ideas and concepts and how they link together. A cognitive computer is the name for a computer running a neural network. Cognitive computers are designed to reason and find the best possible answer. Conventional computers are programmed based on rigid rules, calculations, and logic. Existing computers are unable to gain experience, meaning that every time you run a program, it is exactly the same as the last time you ran it. In contrast to this, the human brain learns from experience, which allows us to adapt to new situations. Machine learning with artificial neural networks attempts to program a computer in a way that is similar to the human brain. Neural networking starts with loading all of the information on a topic into a machine learning algorithm. From this information, the cognitive computer draws out the concepts and how they relate together. It then organizes this information, which makes the material easily accessible to the computer, similar to the way that the Dewey system makes information easily retrievable at the library. The organized data is what the cognitive computer references when providing evidence-based answers. Once a neural network has been trained, it can be used to draw conclusions based on a case. The computer then checks its accuracy, and the neural network is refined with this new information. This is how the cognitive computer learns and gets smarter. Technology companies around the world are harnessing the cognitive abilities of machine learning. Over the last 10 years, IBM has been working on a cognitive computing platform called Watson. And recently, IBM has made a multi-billion-dollar investment to transform Watson into an open platform that developers around the world are using to revolutionize different industries. Watson is a highly sophisticated software platform that learns. On the Watson platform, developers are building a variety of modules that tap into Watson's cognitive powers. The different abilities of the Watson platform have already been applied to fields as different as medical analysis, business analytics, and cooking. One of the most exciting opportunities for the Watson platform in New Zealand is in healthcare. New Zealand has a fantastic, centralized approach to the way we operate healthcare. The goal is to allow everyone to live full and healthy lives. In order to achieve this goal, last year New Zealand spent $14.3 billion on healthcare. Yet, due to limitations of individual medical professionals and inadequate information management systems, some of this money is unavoidably wasted. At the patient level, this wastage is made up of misdiagnosis, which leads to the patient being prescribed the wrong treatments and medicine. At the administrative level, this wastage comes from inefficiencies in healthcare administration. To combat this wastage and save lives, New Zealand could harness a module on the Watson platform, Watson Health, and customize it to the New Zealand environment. At the patient level, medical professionals face a big problem of being overloaded by the amount of medical data that is available. This data includes medical journals, research, a patient's records, and personal health data from devices such as fitness trackers. Each of us here today will generate 11,000 terabytes of medical data in our lifetime, which is the equivalent of 300 million books. This is an issue because doctors may not know the information that they need to diagnose and treat patients. This problem is compounded because 80% of this data is unstructured, which means that it has not been sorted in a way that current computer programs can understand. Watson Health solves this problem. Watson acts as an interpreter and overcomes the problem of unstructured data. Unlike a search engine or translator, Watson doesn't look for keywords or phrases, but reads the language like a person, understanding grammar, sentence structure, and context. Watson then curates, structures, and sorts this data, removing information that is poorly regarded, out of date, or immaterial. This body of structured information is then used to teach the core of the Watson system. While Watson learns, the information is pre-processed, forming indices and metadata that speed up later computations. The pre-processed health data forms the body of information that is used to diagnose and treat patients. Once the medical information has been ingested, Watson Health can begin advising doctors. First, the cognitive system interprets the patient's symptoms and generates millions of hypotheses. Watson then evaluates all of these hypotheses against the medical knowledge in Watson and gives each a weighted evidence score. Based on these scores, Watson presents the doctor with possible diagnoses and recommends treatments. Once a treatment is undertaken, the success of the outcomes can be rated, and Watson learns from the interaction. The ability of a cognitive system to learn and take on new information means that as time passes, Watson's Health's accuracy increases exponentially. The use of Watson Health will allow patients to be diagnosed using the wealth of medical data. This will lead to more accurate diagnosis, which will save lives and resources. Administrative level decision-making will also be transformed by the Watson platform, allowing everyone who administers health to make smarter, evidence-based decisions. Watson can give easy answers to questions as specific as, what are the vaccination rates of 18-year-old males in Dunedin? To questions as broad as, last week, what were the flu rates nationwide? Using the up-to-date medical statistics stored in Watson will allow the Ministry of Health and district health boards to target resources based on information, saving lives and money across New Zealand. Watson Health also gives Pharmac and MedSafe the ability to monitor the utilisation and safety of medical treatments in real time, and to quickly react to any issues. In order to implement the Watson platform in the New Zealand healthcare system, the government, possibly in conjunction with the private sector, will need to make significant investments in software development and high-performance computing. While IBM has already built the Watson Health module, substantial funding will need to be put towards customizing and enhancing this module for the way that New Zealand operates healthcare. As a country, we are perfectly placed to do this with software expertise from companies such as Datacom and Xero. Watson Health will also benefit from the new ultra-fast broadband infrastructure. Due to Watson being accessible via the internet, it won't matter if you're in Wellington or Rotary, you will have access to the same accurate diagnosis. New Zealand also has the extra advantage of a centralised healthcare system, which will allow us to draw extra efficiencies from the Watson platform. The savings offered by a Watson-based healthcare will easily offset the costs of Watson. The power and intelligence of the Watson platform is increasing exponentially. This is shown by a module of the Watson platform specialized for use in Memorial Sloan Kettering, a hospital in the United States. Watson Oncology has already learnt the contents of 200 textbooks, 300 medical journals, 23 million articles, 45 million images of cancer, and every relevant clinical trial ever done, as well as being taught by the best oncologists in the world. Another advantage of the Watson platform is that it never retires and it never dies, meaning that no knowledge or experience is ever lost. Today, people are not receiving the best possible diagnosis because doctors are unable to effectively and efficiently sort through the enormous amount of medical data. Healthcare resources are also wasted at both the patient and administrative levels. By embracing machine learning and cognitive computing, we can transform healthcare by analysing the wealth of medical data, using it to increase the efficiency of the healthcare system and save the lives of New Zealanders. Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Where exactly would the time be saved? The doctor would still meet the patient, examine the patient, right?
Not necessarily. So in places that are far away from like access to a medical centre, they could open their phone, open the Watson app. Watson they'll put it in natural language. They'll be able to explain their symptoms to Watson, just like they would to a doctor. So, you know, when you go into a doctor, you tell them what your symptoms are, and the doctor will ask questions back to get more specifics from you. So Watson can actually do all of those things. And then Watson will be able to tell you, with like the evidence behind it, what it thinks you have and the percentage of how confident it is in what its diagnosis is.
And does Watson ask questions also?
Yes, Watson can ask questions to get more specifics from the patient.
And does Watson read body language?
If you then use the camera on your phone, and one of Watson's neural networks had been taught human body language, Watson would be able to completely understand your human body language.
I mean, the point I'm making, I suppose, is that what a patient-doctor relationship is all about is not replicable by a machine, surely?
Most of it is, because obviously you'll still want to go into your doctor, say if Watson believes you have something rather serious, so if you have cancer or another issue, you'll probably still want to go into your doctor and work through the evidence that Watson has provided and work through that and then discuss with your doctor the treatments Watson is recommending to decide what you want to take. But a lot of, especially now with people's incredibly busy lives and the fact that everyone always has a smartphone with them, being able to quickly jump in and just check that your health is at like an acceptable level would be incredibly useful, especially for people that maybe they don't want to spend the $30 to go and see a doctor, especially university students who are trying to save money.
And so doctors would no longer need to diagnose, they would just need to treat with a diagnosis given to them already by Watson.
So Watson, especially how it's been used so far, has been used as sort of like an augmentation to doctors. So there's still a use for doctors, but it's now more of like interpreting what Watson is giving them, and also that important like doctor-patient relationship for deciding what treatment to go with.
And at what point would you unleash Watson on the New Zealand public, given that you don't know whether it's learnt enough yet?
Well, obviously you'd put test cases through Watson. So a lot of the way they test Watson at the moment...
On people.
Test cases and theoretical test cases of not actually... Well, you might want to... you probably would do some cases with real people as well, and doing like a doctor diagnosis and Watson's diagnosis. But Watson is already being used, as I said, in Memorial Sloan Kettering, Boston Children's Hospital, the Mayo Clinic, these doctors are the top in their field, and yet they are still using Watson, and they believe that they need Watson in order to do the best for their patients.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.